Talks, the maiden venture by Brightland School, is a series of webinars to empower the young minds with skills and progressive thinking. Through this platform, we intend to connect with children of all age groups and their parents and deal with the questions of the inquisitive minds left unanswered so far.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Kindling Talks. Are you a millennial parent? Does your child have questions that you can't answer? Is my child a hyperactive child? Am I even a good parent? If you have questions like that, then you are at the right place. Stay tuned with us to get answer for all your queries. I'm Akshita Sethi, your host and moderator of the day. Our speaker for today merely needs any introduction. She's a superwoman changing life for years. She's a career counselor, life skill trainer, and psychologist at Shivnada Foundation. Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Akshita. I hope I'm audible enough, right? Okay. Thank you for inviting me. I don't know whether I'm a superwoman or not, but it's a very generous, I would say a welcome. And it just brightens your morning if you get such generous, it just boosts your self-esteem. So they're nice to attend such webinars and be welcomed in them. So thank you so much. First of all, I would really want to thank the entire Brightland School team. Principal Miss Vinita, for this initiative and the thoughts behind it, the entire team, I think the leadership is just the face. There's a huge team that goes behind for such success stories. Thank you so much for inviting me and to take it, while we were discussing and, with the magnitude that parenting is huge. And with this, an hour session, I don't know how much would I be able to make a difference, but I'm sure a drop in the ocean is a start, to create ripples. To start, yeah. So what we'll do, Akshita, I have just, because parents keep coming, there are a lot of queries that keep happening to me. So I thought, let me just share some generic and then we'll open it, for specific questions if you have for Brightland's parents. I think we're good to go for that.
Sure, ma'am.
Right. So, right. So, Akshita, there have been so many times that parents come to me in my clinical, setups. It's been almost a decade now that I, completed my academics, and then I started, as a freelance. I'm operating a clinic, and as well, I'm attached to, at the current role, I'm attached with Shivnada Foundation as a training and counselor head. Parents come, it's a the day you come to know you're a parent, there's a huge mix of emotions. You're excited, but definitely we are anxious also. There is a huge responsibility. Be a parent at 25 or be a parent at 35. You are a first-time parent. So definitely age is just not making a difference because parenting comes with a huge responsibility, right? And I definitely feel like, we have licenses. There should be a parenting license that am I equipped enough to bring up a new child, make the new entire shape, because every small thing a child picks up is huge impact of the environment. And we can't negate the caregiver's role in that. It's a huge impact. I've had parents, who have come and spoken to me that, ma'am, especially with, housewife moms, where they're saying that my entire day, the process goes like, I'm repeating instructions, I'm reminding, I'm repeating, I'm reminding, I'm repeating, I'm reminding. And when nothing happens, I'm yelling. So they're just yelling, shouting, and that's when my child hears. So, okay, he has heard, but at night when I am just hitting my sack and I want to relax, my throat is sore, it's paining. And where that hits me, the guilt is that the soreness is not because of cold. It's because the entire day I've been yelling. So I've got mothers, I've got parents who are guilty about it, कि नहीं हो रहा है control, it's not happening, हम लोग को चीखना पड़ता है तभी वो सुनता है. So, to all those parents, my first thing here is what we need to actually check is, what is the root cause of behavior? So many times we are correcting, हम बच्चे को correct करे जा रहे हैं, but it's not the kid. It's very important to separate the kid from his or her behavior, and we need to understand कि ये वाला behavior वो कर क्यों रहा है, right? And moment we are able to decode the root cause of behavior, we are able to handle it in a more, I would say, in a more constructive way, right? So here I would just tell you with two things that, remember that all of us, when I say all, be it a kid of 5-year-old, be a child of 10-year-old, be an adolescent of an 18-year-old, or be myself, who's who's a grown-up adult. There are two things all of us are always wanting, and we are wired with that. And those two needs are, number one is attention, and number two is power. At any age you are, you're always wanting to have attention and power. Now, what happens if I talk about first thing? What happens? Our kids are doing a lot of things. जब तक वो शांत है, अपने आराम से चीजें कर रहा है, we don't even pay attention. I'm busy in my household chores. I'm busy in my other things. And what kid is waiting for? Kid is waiting for is that he wants attention. So what happens? He cries, he clings, he screams, and then we give him attention. So what is happening is we are attending to his negative behavior, and that gets reinforced, right? So this is what happens. Exactly, Akshita. So attention, हम सबको attention चाहिए. हम जब तक बच्चा शांत है, अपना आराम से काम कर रहा है, we are also कि चलो ये टाइम है, मैं अपने घर का काम कर लेती हूँ या अपने ऑफिस का काम कर लेती हूँ, वो disturb नहीं कर रहा. And kid is longing for attention. So he has also got it that when I throw tantrums, when I cry, when I wean, is the time when I get attention from my parents, right? So that is one thing. So what we need to look into is why we need to attend only to the negative behaviors of my child. Why can't I enjoy and be attentive to him when he's doing good positive behaviors as well, right? So one thing is that look into those positive behaviors, appreciate, and then the child will not look for your attention during his negative behaviors, right?
And I believe rewards also play a very vital role here when you just appreciate or acknowledge something good they have done.
Absolutely. So when you appreciate a positive behavior, that positive behavior gets reinforced, and it becomes a cycle that when I am doing good things also, I'm getting my parents attention, and also their go ahead that I yes, absolutely right, absolutely, Akshita. The second thing that I was talking about is power. Like anybody will say, 5 साल के बच्चे को क्या power चाहिए? No, but no, even they want autonomy. That is an age-appropriate autonomy they want. They want independence. क्या हम 2 महीने के बच्चे को भी push करके उसका diaper बदल सकते हैं? He'll resist, right? You can't even do it for 2-3 months. Forget about a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old. They want autonomy, definitely age-appropriate. I'm not telling them that they're starting decisions for everything. We have to, as parents, have to decide that how much autonomy and independence do I need to give to my child. You can't control everything of your child. And what happens when we are trying to over control our kids? What happens? Tantrums happen, resistance happen, bad talk happens, arguments happen. This is only because I want to control. Somewhere I feel as a parent, I have more power than to what my kid has. No, you can't. As human beings, all of us are born as free will. So we really can't control.
Aggressive as well when they're not.
Absolutely. And I think, Akshata, you will agree with me, being a biology background, that, free will is something that inherently, genetically, we are born with, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's so difficult. Why do we want to control them for everything? So can we give them an age-appropriate autonomy, the power? Like, for instance, a simple thing. I want to read a bedtime. So I've decided there should be a bedtime story. Why can't he pick up a storybook that he wants to make me read today?
So basic.
Absolutely. So these are small things. Right now when I'm speaking and when I speak to a parent, they said, sunne mein acha, but it doesn't happen like this. But actually, I'm telling you, you start doing these changes, you will see your yelling over the day will reduce, right? Your screaming, your guilt that why am I always screaming and kids are only listening when I'm screaming will actually reduce, right?
Like small things like choosing the destination you want to go next.
Absolutely.
And maybe the dress.
Right, Akshita, definitely. I always tell my mothers,
And what you want to
I always tell the parents, my mothers, because they are usually in charge of what is cooking at home. I said, why do you take this stress? Ask your teenager, to decide what are we cooking for the dinner, So it's really good to involve them in this aspect. It really gives them independence. They also have, the control of things that what are happening at home, and they become partners in decisions then. And definitely, we can definitely ask them, we are going to a restaurant. Let's give them things. Okay, for today, you are ordering for all of us. So give them that, I would say, an independence and autonomy. So this is something very important. So you really need to check for your child's behavior. And when I'm saying this, I have a thought like, which are the 2, 3 behaviors that really disturb you of your child and which is too much to handle? Now try to look into the root cause of those. And is there a power struggle or is there an attention struggle? Try to see it. It's either way. Kuch na kuch to dono mein se ho raha hai, tabhi itni zyada concerns aa rahi. And if you are able to tap it,
Finding the cause is very important.
sorry. Yeah, so root cause, finding the root cause of behavior is what I want to say. That could be either a power or it could be attention. It has to be either of them, right? Then there is another very important area, Akshita, that parents come and say कि बहुत गुस्सा आ गया था, इतना गुस्सा आ गया था कि चाटा मार दिया. I really felt like punishing him. I really want to tell you parents, and this is genuinely, that disciplining is not punishment. So many times parents feel discipline is equal to punishment. It's not at all, right? They are two very, very different terms. Punishment is only blame, shame, and pain. Do you really want ever your child to feel blamed, shamed, or pained? I really don't think so. Either of us would want our kids to go through it. And what happens is that punishment is a submission. Submission to, because aap chahte ho to main submit kar raha hu, there is a fear to it. But that will not change the behavior of the child, right? So it's a threat that I can do this for you. You have to do it, right? I reprimand you for this. So anything that has these connotations, which has blame, shame, and pain, that would only be very temporarily impacting. It will never have a long run change in a child's behavior, right? So what is important is to understand that through fear, can you change the behavior? Definitely not. We can't change it. So where we need to understand is that punishment can never equate to discipline. Now, what is discipline then? So discipline is something which is a very good mix of your power, where you come with child in partnership, as well as your love. So overindulgence cannot even happen as discipline. आजकल क्या हो गया, I'm a working person, my husband is a working person, so what we do is वो हम लोग कहीं ना कहीं equate कर देते हैं quality time को ना with lot of toys, and every time going I'm feeling guilty in the car, oh no, I should take something back home, kind of it, right? So you want to take back home, feed them with toys, lot of stuff and all. So that is not, this is overindulgence. They are not valuing. And then there's a question, ma'am, gratitude nahi hai aajkal bachcho ke paas. Because you are actually not making them value what is coming to them. हम लोगों का क्या होता था? I remember we were 4 siblings. One chocolate used to come in and we had to divide amongst each other. Not that my dad could not afford 4 chocolates, but it was about, again, gratitude and sharing habits.
And
I'm sure
replace like presence from presence.
Absolutely right. Yeah. So Akshara, those were times, where we were given beyond, materialism, and materialistic life was, not there for us. We could understand these systems. It's very important for parents to balance your disciplining from love and power. It's very important. At the age your child is, you really need to graduate in your parenting styles also. Maybe at the initial front, he needs you all up in there, right? But at the adolescence, when your child is in the middle school and above, they need you more, but then they need you in an informed ways. They need to be together in partnership of decision makings. They will sound that no, my peer is more intelligent than you, but yet they want a lot of information from you. And what happens that हम लोगों को लगता है no, तुम्हारी अभी age नहीं है. So उसको तो information मिल जाएगी. Now you have to decide.
कि वो आपसे मिलनी है या किसी और से.
Absolutely, Akshita. क्योंकि उसको तो information मिलेगी. अब आप दे दोगे, so you have developed that friendship. Otherwise, he's going to half-baked information to his friend who also have half information, ignorance, right?
Parents, safe adult a child have at home.
Absolutely. So it's very important for parents of an adolescent to understand that you need to change your parenting style now for adolescent. It cannot be same what I was doing for a middle-aged child or what I was doing for a toddler. So it will change. You need to come in partnership with them to talk about it. Unko sab pata hoga, right? So this is not a magnitude when I'm talking about, it's very important at adolescent to talk about sex education with them, right? So you stop using lingos, which is not. So stop using your own jargons. Har ghar ke apne jargon hai. Why do we need to give them? Why can't we use the appropriate words with them? Unko pata chalna hi hai. It's good if they get it from a trusted source like yours. You
Right.
people can actually give that trusted source to them rather than they're going to another friend who also have their own home lingos.
Have a go-to person in house. How beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely, right. And my, like, here with my own example, if I say my elder sister has an adolescent, she's dwelling with her and she's in a residential setup. So she keeps talking to me and telling me, Nika, the best partner, now she's in residential setup. So she would have a lot of things to talk to her friends. But you have to remember that in a year, whenever she's coming for 1 or 2 months with you, she needs to find that friendship with you, that trust in you. And that can openly happen only when you have a two-way open communication with your child. And this is not only with the adolescent. I will say, trust me, have it with every age group. Have an open communication with your child. Keep it age appropriate. Of course, keep it age appropriate. That's very important.
Nidhi ma'am, I have a nephew of 5-year-old, and most of the times I feel like he knows everything. He
Absolutely.
talk to me about like anything. So most of the times I feel like that. Do I need to talk to him in like that childish language? Even sometimes I feel like no, I can talk to him exactly the way I can talk to an adult.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Akshata. That's what I'm saying. What you number one, you should never talk in a childish language. They are
Mom,
matured enough at their age. Talk to them at their age levels. Gone are
absolutely.
the times कि मैं अभी 4 साल के बच्चे के साथ बात कर रही हूँ तो मुझे वो बात करनी है. The environment has changed so much around us. Phone is there, television is there. The exposure for these kids is huge now. So of course, we need to have an age appropriate talk with them and talk with them as at their age 5 should be. So no kiddish talks, but take their points, understand, the perspective is so different for their side. So try to understand the world through their perspective and
निधि
then
बहुत
communicate.
बार हमें ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब बच्चा कुछ पूछता है which is like we feel like it's beyond the age, ये तो नहीं पूछना चाहिए था इसको. So sometimes we just shut the child कि अच्छा चलो छोड़ो, मतलब how dare you ask this, या तुम डांट देते हैं, or we try to ignore it. So how much fair is that?
Uh, Absolutely, Akshata. Don't stop the creative cells of your kids. It's very important. उसके दिमाग में चल रहा है कुछ curiosity he wants to ask you, right? You can of course always give an age appropriate answer. So if for instance, if a child wants to, very curious question at age 4 and 5, when the mom is expecting another kid, their question will be, where did my brother come from? And the gone are those time when you'll say that God Ji came and a star came in the tummy and kept, right? And I'm not even telling you to talk about how it actually happened, but there is always a way to communicate it, right? There is an age appropriate way to communicate it, that at one age, when you're adults, you get into an institution called marriage, which is a very, so you can of course talk about this thing, in a very subtle way, but give him the right approach. That's important.
Realistic,
You
right?
can't shun their curiosity because you are awkward in talking about it. It's my awkwardness. It's not his awkwardness.
Absolutely,
So it's
absolutely.
very important to understand that you need to be comfortable before you're talking to your child. And if that question at that point you think you are not ready to answer, take your time out, think out, come
And
back to
ask
him or her
later, right?
and give them right information. Absolutely. So don't hurry up and try to shun it under the carpet. Then he'll go to another one to ask. And then this is how the entire curiosity builds up so much that it's not that big a deal, but because we are shunning it, the curiosity keeps building up. Ki kuch to hai. I really want to know this
हम
thing.
खुद ही बड़ा कर देते हैं उसको.
Absolutely, which is not that big a deal. So let's talk with them to the age appropriate language. And also another very important thing, Akshita, which is important when I'm doing a parenting is to keep a check to my personality, right? All of us have our typical personalities. And at the age we are now, we have already developed a very strong personality. So I always tell my parents to keep a check to you. Are you yourself a control freak? Are you yourself have a typical features, anxious parents? Are you very anxious about things? And then later you say, मेरा बच्चा बड़ा anxious है. Like the term anxious, anxiety, depression, hyperactivity have all gone out from the clinical terms to the world outside, and parents and everybody is using now, right? So that line between what is the clinical anxiety and what is anxiety has completely gone blurred now, which is not, so thoda sa bhi palpitation hona, it's fine, even if I'm best prepared for the session like this, which I'm doing from last so many years, still I'm anxious.
हाँ, you're jittery.
Yeah, we are. So that's okay. But I have butterflies in my tummy. That's okay. So that is where I will perform my best. We've always heard a little jittery, little gives you the best performance. So what's harm? But it's important for parents to keep a check on their own personality also. Very, very important, because then that also tells me that if I have a typical personality like this, maybe I'm trying to over control situations. Maybe my anxiety is traveling to my kids. So keep a check to your own personality, and do not dominate your personality to your child. Let your child's personality be developed the way he or she wants. I was a very introvert. I can't expect my child to be an extrovert. Because मेरे को लगता था मेरे इंट्रोवर्जन की वजह मैं बहुत बुली हुई हूँ स्कूल में. I don't want my child to go through it. No, you can't go through it. You can't control situations. You can just empower your child, what are good and bads, and you can make situations better, or you can empower him with more situational case studies and understanding the situation. But you can't move, completely change the environment for your child. It's very important.
The child.
Yeah.
Also, ma'am, sometimes we try to own the child, like the child.
Again, control freak. Yeah, ये मेरा बच्चा है, मैं जिस तरह से चाहता हूँ उस तरह से उसको मोल्ड करूंगा. No, you can't do any more like this.
सुनते हैं हम.
Yeah,
बच्चे को भी ना डांटो.
वही. So again, the parents is like अपनी personality check करो यार. It's very, very important. Sorry, but then parents, you need to check. क्या ठीक है, हम लोगों के पेरेंट्स का जो स्टाइल था पहले बहुत डिफरेंट था. We were in the cocoon of home and school. We didn't have exposure of Instagram, Snapchats, Facebook, endless features. Ab with time up, and as Akshata you introduced, they are millennium kids, they're millennium parents. So we can't have our 19th century parenting skills with us. We need to change. We need to evolve. Life has changed, good or bad. We have a lot of technology influence to us. Thankfully, I would say the other way around, pandemic has taught that we can't let go of technology from our life. Absolutely. Today, I am sitting at my place and having this conversation. I could have not thought that this would have happened a year back so easily. Webinars, I don't know how many webinars I must have, been partnered to in these last 6-7 months, which has given me ease. I'm reaching out to more people now, but technology has become a part of our life, right? So we can't let go of it. So parents, hello, get up, wake up. Technology is there. It's going to stay there. Just we need to work around it the best way it's possible for us. To close my, I just have 5 minutes more to talk about my part that I want to talk about. Some very good consequences that I feel. A lot of parents are struggling कि अगर बच्चा कुछ behavior करता है हम उसके क्या consequences दें, which is where punishment comes up. I don't know what to give a better consequence, and that's why I land up to punishments. So in discipline, I always tell parents to remember these 5 R's. That really works very well. The first R that I always tell them is respectful. Very, very important is being respectful to your child. You cannot disrespect your child because he or she is your child. We can't do this. Even if I'm a 2-year-old, I really need to be respected to what I am. So if you think there is something that is very, very lethal and you're angry right now, you really want to give it back to him, move out from the situation. It's not the right way. You will not give a right tone to talk to the child. Break out, move out. When you think in a right state to talk to him in a respectful manner, tell him where he went wrong. Talk about the behavior, and you will see when you're in an anger mode, your tone is very different. But when you are in a, so there's a very thin line between when you react and when you respond. So when you're responding to a situation, you're respecting the other person equally, right? And when you're reacting, you are in that power control again, right? So the first R is please respect your child. That's very, very important. Another very important thing I tell parents is when you're disciplining your child, please reprimand or, you need to help understand that you need to be giving them some, you have to take their privileges or something impactful only related to the misbehavior. Like here, if I give an example, child does not like to brush at night, right? Now, just speak to them, understand with them कि आप रात को क्यों उनसे brush कराना चाहते हो? Because he has had too many candies maybe during the day. बहुत ज़्यादा sweets खाए हैं, दांतों में चिपक गए हैं, he should be poor. So talk to him. Fine. If you don't want to brush, your candies for tomorrow will be reduced. I'll not give you candies.
Reasons for what you want from them.
Yes, but I can't give them to brush नहीं कर रहे हो तो कल तुम birthday party में नहीं जाओ. Now, hello, what is these two things related? Now that is punishment. You're understanding the difference. So I need to. वो करेगा डर के और वो उसका कोई मन नहीं है. But when he understand this logic कि ठीक है कल से मुझे candies नहीं मिलेंगी because I'm not brushing at night. So he will that become a habit. No, I need to get those candies and sweets, so I will brush. It'll become a thing. So always give them a consequence which is related to their misbehavior. You can't give them consequences so dur dur tak ek saath nahi hai, right? So if he's coming back from a biking, aajkal evening bikings due to pandemic, a lot of students are going out, doing a lot of cycling and all. So if they're coming back and they're not keeping the cycling in the right way, so you reduce the cycling time for tomorrow, right? But you will not say, I will not give you your favorite meal at night. They both are not related, right? So the second consequence when I talk about disciplining is it has to be related to the misbehavior, right? The third one that I talk about is you need to be reasonable. You cannot give them a huge, reprimand for that. So be reasonable. Simple things like brush while I'm an example. Yeah, that's fine. He understands the logic, right? So you can't reprimand or you can't give them something or consequence which is huge. So be reasonable, be age appropriate. या 4 साल के बच्चे के साथ उसके लेवल का ही करो. अगर puzzles नहीं संभाल रहा है, आप puzzles. Okay, so today Arav does not want to play. It doesn't seem that he is in a mood to play puzzles. Let's pack it and keep it. Right? So we are not playing puzzles today because Arav doesn't want to play. He's making it a mess of it. Whatever. So I'm just giving an example, right? Always reveal the consequences in advance. My fourth R, reveal the consequence in advance. So what? So that they know that if today you're not doing this behavior, this is what would happen as a consequence. So they are informed about it. And that information has to be also to a 5-year-old. Don't expect that they don't know it. They are very smart. I have a toddler in my house who's 2-year-old. I'm telling you, we all can go around one and he can make us smart enough. So we have to partner him in all our decisions.
So true.
Right? So reveal him. So let him know that the power, so who has the power, whether this will happen or not is in your ball, right? In your court, the ball is in your court right now. So if you don't want to do this, the consequences, you decide to have it. So in advance, you tell them the consequences and ask them to repeat back. Okay, so what did I say, Arif? So if you're not managing these puzzle pieces together, I am taking these puzzles away. Have you understood? Because you are not getting these puzzles together, I am taking them back. So make them repeat that, right? So I'll repeat for all the parents, the 5 R's for consequences. This is a positive disciplining for your child. The first R is being respectful to them. Very, very important. Being related to the misbehavior. So the consequence has to be related to the misbehavior. Be reasonable in your consequences. Reveal them in advance and ask them to repeat back the consequences. Now remember, consequence might not be the right tool for all kind of misbehaviors. I'm just giving you one tool, right? Her behavior ka consequence is not the solution, but there could be some behaviors where your disciplining techniques has to be based on consequences, right? So it's very important. And I'll wrap up with this last 1 minute, which I want to talk about is how do I actually tell them this consequence? So don't, there's always a nice way. So whenever you feel your child is, in a maybe after dinner or in a good mood and he wants to talk about few things, then it's a nice light view. You can always start with something like, okay, so I have noticed, like, let me take an example of screen time. Nowadays, screen time has become a major thing. Parents call me up asking about it. What screen time kar raha hai? What to do it? So you can always ask him, or when you're in a good mood, you're watching TV or something, you can ask him, okay, so I have noticed that nowadays, when I'm asking you to switch off your mobile phone, you are just asking mama 5 minutes, mama 10 minutes. Why are you? So I have noticed. So remember, you are not saying ki tum ye kar rahe ho, ye kar rahe ho. You have been a very subtle way. I have noticed this. So this is opening a communication between you and your child, right? So it comes up as a concern. I have noticed. So how do we work over it, right? So now how it could be that in the future I expect. So the next thing could be in a very assertive way, but not in an aggressive way. Assertive way it could be, so Arav, in future, I expect you that I'll call you once that your game time is over and I expect you to listen to me. If you don't, then you choose that I should reduce your game time from day after tomorrow or from tomorrow onwards. So what I've done it, absolutely. So here, who is the one who's deciding the privileges for himself now? Am I deciding? No, it's he deciding. Absolutely. And this is where I've made it very, very clear to the child that game time is a privilege to you and not a right. And privileges will stay with you if you decide to go ahead the way we have decided together. So again, the onus is to the child, whether my privilege stays with me or not stays with me, right? And in case if he wants to let go of the privilege, then you can definitely tell him, as I told you, but I think you still want some time to enjoy your privileges and you are not understood. So we need to take a time out from you. Right. So leave the things in their decision. The child is they're very intelligent. Trust me, they're far more intelligent than us. And definitely they have both our genes. So they are super intelligent. Right. So, they have made a combination where me and my husband would think on one thing and they both together would think it together. Right. So that's how it will be. So leave the final decision to them. I know it's not going to be easy, but try it out. And this formula has worked out for a lot of parents. And I am hoping it works for a few of Brightland's parents as well. So I think that was from my end right now to talk about parenting. And I can go ahead. There's so much to talk about parenting. But I think I'll open up this forum if you have questions specifically from Brightland's parents.
Sure. Before we move ahead, let me announce to my listeners that if you have any query regarding your child or parenting, you can just put them in the comment box or in chat box. We'll have a Q&A session with Nidhi ma'am at the end of this session. Ma'am, again, I would come back to the same thing. I'm surrounded by so many millennial parents and my friends are young parents. They generally discuss about this hyperactivity tendency among Gen Z. That कुछ नहीं मिलता है, so they keep on saying this कि बहुत hyperactive है, ये तो मतलब संभाला ही नहीं जाता है, ये तो सोता ही नहीं है. So they have that मतलब कुछ नहीं मिलता है. So the one thing they know is like one or the other day I just listened to this word that my child is very hyperactive. So I'm inquisitive to know what is this hyperactivity and what are the misconceptions and myths related to it.
Right. Thank you, Akshata, for asking this question and to the parents who have this inquisitiveness, because this is something that happens with, a lot of time in clinic aspect also. Parents are asking this. Now, what I need parents to understand is hyperactivity as a term, right, has a huge two connotation. One is an hyperactive child, which is a clinically diagnosed hyperactive, right? This child is something which is going to be restless across situations, right? There are clinical parameters for us to diagnose a child where we have been using this term, which we call ADHD or ADD, which is hyperactivity disorder or hyperactive attention deficit disorder. Now, what is happening is because we have heard this hyperactive term so much, I've also started, I would say, abusing this word too often around me, right? So even a simple restlessness, concentration issues, focus less is also termed as hyperactivity. Right? So I would really want parents to use this term very, very wisely. What is happening
when your child is diagnosed with this?
Absolutely right. So it's very important. So what happens is kabhi kya hota hai, agar hamare aaspas ek term ko bahut zyada use kara jata hai na, it starts influencing me around, because kids are smart, hyperactive. Mama ne meko hyperactive kyun bola? Google it. Google mama is there to tell you more. So then they were like, oh,
ye something else in that case.
Absolutely. So is my child restless or inattentive? Now forget about child. I ask the parents first thing. जब आप लोग टीवी देख रहे होते हो, अगर आप एक न्यूज देख रहे हैं, आप कितनी देर एक न्यूज को देखते हैं? तो दे विल से मैम 5 मिनट 10 मिनट. फिर आप क्या करते हैं? हम दूसरा न्यूज देखते हैं. क्यों देखते हैं? क्योंकि उसमें ऐड आ जाती है, इट्स बोरिंग. सो आप लोग का अटेंशन स्पैन जब 10 मिनट से ऊपर नहीं है, वी आर ऑलवेज डूइंग चैनल स्कैनिंग. यार वो तो 5 साल का बच्चा है या 10 साल का बच्चा है. सो देन शुड आई लेबल यू आल्सो हाइपर एक्टिव नाउ?
मैम ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि me as a parent, like I am not able to channelize the energy of my child. शायद इसलिए मैं
bang on. I think Akshata, that's a bang on, right? So this is what even I would tell the parents. Are you channelizing your child's energy rightly? आजकल क्या हो गया, हम लोगों का भी नहीं हो रहा था, तो हम लोग भी, हम लोग कितना, imagine how many times do you go back to your Facebook and Instagram? कोई 5 मिनट में फर्क थोड़ा आने वाला है कि 2 लाइक बढ़ जाएंगे या 4 लाइक. But we are so restless in our lives. So these are just kids, of course. So definitely, are we channelizing? They are full of energies. Kids are full of energy. Are we channelizing them rightly? So it's not hyperactivity. It's a concern where they have been not channelized the right way. Right? So stop using this over abusive word hyperactive. Mera bachcha badhai nahi. You just need to channelize the energy at the right time. Definitely, just for a lot of parents who feel nahi bahut zyada energy hai, I need to tie team to it. So then reflect on it. Energies kis cheez se aati hain? I have Akshita who can definitely vouch for it. The diet plays a huge role.
Absolutely, ma'am.
So if you're having too much of sugar in your diet, in your kid's diet, and in your diet, like I am being a Punjabi, has too much sugar in my diet. So, I need to ensure that I'm going for evening walks to, let go.
Bring
Yeah,
another Punjabi.
absolutely. So diet, sugar, and then packed foods. Yeah, everything is coming packed. So these are also food that gives a lot of energy, of fats, carbs to us, to kids, and we are not channelizing them enough. So diet definitely makes a lot of role. Reduce on aerated drinks, reduce on sweets, candies, chocolates, packed foods. These are few foods that really, really pump and give an energy issues. So if you can work on the diet, that's important. Definitely, how much physical work are you getting your children involved into? If you feel it's pandemic, parks mein nahi ja sakte hain, I think cycling is very good. It's an individual way you are cycling around. If you can let go of that, then I know parents who say colony mein safety nahi hai, hum cycling pe kaise bhejenge? Can you go along with your kid for a walk? If not, nothing much. This is a good quality time also you spend, and there's a physical work happening around. So you go out for badminton. I have played a lot of badminton during pandemic because it's again an individual, it's you and your kid who's playing. So if you can do that, involve and channelize the energy. And I'm telling you, it's inattention and a reduced focus. It's not hyperactivity.
Okay, this brings me to another question. Like, some parents, those who want to channelize their energy, they have enrolled their kid to like so many activities at the same time. कि चलो ठीक है 5 से 6 swimming कर लेना, फिर basketball खेल लेना, फिर cricket, and then tuitions and all. So is that also the right way? Is that the way of channelizing the energy? Like,
So Akshita, there is no right and wrong in parenting. Trust me. So parents, there is no right, wrong. Don't feel guilty at the night that I'm doing over or I'm doing under. Right? It's again how your child. So if your child is a sport person, like I have a friend whose kids are really very sport. They really love sports and they like going it. It's naturally coming to them. Right? So if your child, if come in partnership with your child, if you are deciding, that I need to send it to swimming, does he enjoys? Do you want to do? If I'm sending a 12-year-old to a swimming, he needs to be also be partnered. Get yes, mausam badal gaya and I love swimming. Let me go for it. Then it's enjoyment. If it's a part of my enjoyment and not an exercise that's been given to me by somebody else, I'll enjoy that. And this is something very, very, it's very customized. I have a parent who want to send a kid to 10 places, and there's a parent who wants to send to one parent, and none of them are wrong or right, I would say. It's very, very customized, but you should not get into competition कि उसके बच्चे 4 activities में जा रहे हैं तो मेरे 3 में कैसे जा रहे हैं. The day you land up in that comparison, you have actually gone on the wrong track.
And so, the child suffers in this.
Absolutely, absolutely. So again, it's a very customized thing. Sit with your child, think about it. I might want to do a half an hour guitar. It's a hobby for me and it's not stressful. It might include as ki fourth thing bhi aa gayi, guitar ki training aa rahi hai, but that is what I enjoy doing it. So if you want to explore a few things, you can always do it in a very staggered way. I can have, so aisa nahi hai ki swimming mujhe har roz jana hai. I can have swimming also, tennis also, guitar also, two times in a week. And I'm enjoying all of it. So definitely children should be partner in this decision. Again, my power, remember the power thing I said, independence, autonomy, and control of things. So if they are into that, you guys are partner in that. So doesn't make a difference, even if you're sending a child to as many classes, unless till the time he's enjoying and partner to it.
So true, ma'am. Thank you for this. Ma'am, also you said कि गुस्सा आता है तो हमने बोल दिया कि चांटा लगा दिया या कुछ कह दिया. So we all know the power of words. So sometimes unintentionally we say something like that to our kids that stays with them like for so long. So how does that affect child in long run?
Definitely, if kids are very, very impressionable, their age is very, very impressionable. So whatever we tell them, it leaves a thing. But remember, I said the 5 hours mein first are respectful. So if you are respectful to them, you will never land up doing something or saying something like this. However, in a rage or when you were angry, I was angry on something else, it come out to my kid. A lot of times there are defense mechanisms. We are projecting boss ka gussa bachcho ke upar, in-laws ka gussa bachcho ke upar. Kuch na kuch, they become a punching pads. I don't think so. It's a harm to go and say sorry. They are so impressionable. If you go and actually apologize to them also, they would take it. And they are very, very giving. They are very giving in, accepting your apologies and giving you sorry also.
And again,
so if you are
authority to forgive.
Absolutely right. So you have also given them, exact right role modeling that if I have done something wrong, I do not hesitate to come and say sorry to somebody who's much younger to me as well. So again, there is no power struggle. If you've actually done something wrong and you're guilty about it, go and say sorry. There's no harm about it.
Sorry has become like a very egoistic word these days. When you say, when you tell a child like you have done this, say sorry, child will rebel on your face. नहीं, मतलब उसको लगता है if I'll say sorry, they are like trying to pull me down over something, या मैं मेरा ego hurt होएगा और um, मतलब this will hurt me somewhere. तो sorry बहुत बड़ा word कैसे हो गया? मतलब a 5-year-old knows कि sorry नहीं बोलना है. The child will refrain to say sorry.
Akshita, I think your answer to this question is the question you asked me before only, where I said the role modeling. Because parents के लिए ego बहुत बड़ा हो गया कि अगर मैंने अपने बच्चे के साथ गलत भी करा है, I can't say sorry, I'm a parent. So you are role modeling that thing for him, that sorry is something which is very heavy, right? But the other side is that there is for something, for every small thing you ask him, sorry bolo, sorry bolo. तो वो sorry उसके ऐसा हो जाता है कि बोलना ही तो है, क्या फर्क पड़ रहा है. So it has also lost the meaning at times, that am I really believing and making into a sense कि मैं sorry हूँ. So again, a judicious usage of word sorry is important. Am I overusing it, or have I made it an ego struggle for myself? So as a parent, again, check, knock, knock, I would say here, am I getting my ego when I am going wrong and I'm not setting a role modeling, a good role model to my child? Or am I overusing it that the child has lost the actual essence of what sorry is?
So true, ma'am. So true. Ma'am, also you said that we need to teach our children this gratitude. So this attitude of gratitude, like uh, what is the right age and right way to just teach to them in a very organic way? Like it should not be a forced learning.
So I think nothing could be more organic than being your role models yourself. What more organic it could be when the child has always seen this environment at home of gratitude, right? It's that this is already happening. If I am doing to my parents, it will come naturally because that's the environment the child is coming from, right? The initial 4 years, the only environment the child is exposed to is the home environment. And we say the maximum 80% of the habits develop by age 5. राइट सो राइटली पेरेंट्स विद से मैम हमारे घर में तो बहुत ग्रेटिट्यूड है बट वो स्कूल के बच्चों के साथ जब मिलता है वहां पे तो बहुत ही अलग चीज है राइट बट स्कूल के बच्चों के साथ तो 4 साल के बाद मिला है ना तो अगर आपने इनिशियल में उसने घर में ही देख लिया है व्हाट हैपेंस लाइक आई एम स्पीकिंग सो इल टू माय पेरेंट्स आई एम स्पीकिंग बदतमीजी से उनसे बट आई वांट माय किड्स शुड बी वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू मी व्हाट आई एम गिविंग इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल इट कैन नॉट बी so a lot of times so if I tell you we have a kid of 13 months in a house right my brother-in-law's kid and the 13-14 months he has seen a system in the house more than us like he would want to come and be so while going at night he would we have a house help he'll say good night bhaiya good night so this is because it's there in the house it's not that he has seen for only that we have taught him it is something that we all do it so it's become it's a part of the environment so you don't have to teach them they just pick up they are super intelligent they pick up things in the environment more than you can even imagine the brain elasticity is huge till age 5 so they pick up things so gratitude is something that you don't have to teach them you have to do actions they'll pick it up so on my birthday if I am taking him to an orphanage I don't have to teach him कि हम आज orphanage में जा रहे हैं और हम लोगों को देंगे तो कल को आप भी करोगे no it is coming this is coming to him naturally like if I give you to yesterday I took him to park there is a rabbit that is there right so I said okay so what are you taking for the rabbit and he was blank I said we'll take carrot for him so while he was giving I said oh wow you need to be so much in gratitude to God that you had carrot to feed somebody so I am not teaching him it's just coming naturally कि मेरे पास आज कुछ है किसी को देने के लिए so that's gratitude so that's how we teach so it's just a role modeling it's in the system you don't have to teach you can't make this attitude be taught it's environment if it's there in your house the child will naturally pick it up and definitely schools hugely play a role because when the child will come to the school it will environment ko hum nahi rok sakte hain and we can't shape the outside environment what is best in my control is the internal environment of my house if I have that systems right at my house things will shape up around that
Absolutely, ma'am. So rightly said. Looks like we answered all the queries in the chat box. Nidhi ma'am, do you have anything else that you would like to add up here? before we wrap up?
Nothing. I think parenting is, as the child is born, the day child is born, the parent is also born. You are still experiencing. You are no experts. Your age does not say that you're an expert. You're an adult, so you should know everything. Formula, right? There is no one formula for any parent. You as a parent, your one formula might work with one child and will completely fail with the other child. So it's okay. It's absolutely fine to falter, to get up, to keep trying. And I'd say it's a huge community of parents together. At any point of time when you feel stuck up, it's always nice to speak to another parent. They can always give you a different perspective. Listen to them. None of us are perfect. We are evolving. And I would just say happy parenting. It's just a huge blessing to be a parent and rejoicing that.
And it's a lifelong learning process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this enlightening session. And I'm surely this has given a new age parent absolutely a new vision. Thank you so much.
Completely, it's my pleasure to be here in the morning. And I really again want to thank the Brightland School team behind this initiative. I completely feel that student is one person where the stakeholders are the 360-degree together and parents play such huge role. So if you could think a session like this for parents, it just shows that you are doing a good job.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We wish to see you more often here in Kindling Talks episodes.
Pleasure.
So
Right.
we'll see you again with another episode of Kindling Talks. Till then, take care, stay healthy. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.